Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Welcome back to another episode of the Day After Show. I'm here in my American ranch. Scott, I'm joined with Scott and Thomas today as well, the boys. I don't even know. I think, Thomas, you were there yesterday because you sent me a video.
No, I was sat in my friend's. So he has like these season tickets in East family section, East lower, like second row actually, and like I went for Carabao Cup against Arsenal. I was first row, and I just didn't really like sitting there just because when you're first or second row, you don't really see anything. You don't see you can't really see a bird's eye view of the pitch. You can't see the formation very well. All you can see, or on my side, was Garnacho in the first half, and that's
brilliant.
that's not the best viewing, and it's kind of annoying because like I was right next to the away dugout, and so whenever they score, you're next to them celebrating and stuff. So it's kind of annoying, but I also I was chatting to my mate yesterday about this actually at the game. When Poch came in, did he? There's this I don't know if it's one of the two. Is it? Did he change the dugout because he wanted to be closer to Matthew Harding, or was it because he changed it because he was used to being in the away dugout and so he wanted to go in the opposite basically?
Well, he would have done it because you just get a better view of the pitch. I mean, you're in the middle as opposed to being slanted.
Oh, is that why? Okay.
Yeah. So the current home one, it's in the middle, and then the away one's like it's not on the halfway line. So the home manager gets an advantage. I always thought that was weird. I think that was a good decision as well. I mean, it seemed pretty obvious, but you had to wait for a manager to actually request it at the time. But it's funny that you mentioned Garnacho because man,
Scott here as well. Not the best advocate for Garnacho.
Hey, Scott, man, I'm not even gonna lie. You need to let's just get out of the way. Let's get out of the way, Scott. I mean, how are you? First of all, how are you?
I feel fantastic, mate. I feel great.
You're okay. Life's good. Life's good.
Yeah,
did you do anything nice this weekend?
I spent time with my son. Went to the gym, which was nice. Then just chilled.
Hey, man, that's what you want. Nice, relaxing weekend. I was meant to work this morning, but it was all rained off. Classic. So ended up just going into Rennes, doing some shopping. Bought some books, and I got a jacket, which was a birthday present, but the last one didn't fit me properly, or something like that. So I got to choose another one. But yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I cannot defend what I saw yesterday from Garnacho. I can't defend it. And honestly, the stage is yours, Scott. The stage is yours.
I don't have anything to say. I spoke my piece on Garnacho plenty of times. I told everyone when he signed. So I never gave him a chance because he didn't deserve one. Because you'd seen him for 2.5, 3 years at United. I knew what we were getting of him as a player. I knew what we were getting of him in terms of just a lack of having certain things that you need in this team. How he didn't fit the style of play, didn't fit the system in any way, shape, or form. Under Maresca, we changed Maresca, got Rosenior in. It's not changed, so he still doesn't suit the style of play. And yeah, he is an awful footballer. He is arguably the worst winger in the entire Premier League.
Based on
his ability as a winger, in terms of he can't beat a guy 1v1. His numbers are terrible. His ability to track back, which is I don't really care too much, but that needs to be an element to your game as a winger, is awful, especially if you're not making up for it going forward, in the way we've seen some Hazard used to. He was dreadful going defensively, but he was so good going forward, it didn't matter. Just that. His lack of ability to take any kind of useful shot, the lack of ability to pick a pass, the lack of ability to cross. Yeah, the fact that we played West Ham, who are 18th, and they had two wingers on. In fact, I'd argue they played 3 wingers yesterday, and all of them are better than Garnacho. There are wingers at Burnley who I think are better than Garnacho. I don't even know who Wolves' wingers are, but they're probably better than Garnacho. I'd take Wilson Odobert at Tottenham over Garnacho. That's the levels we're getting to. He is one of the worst players we've ever signed.
All of Fulham's wingers as well.
Oh, I take Fulham's wingers. I'd take Tyreek George, who we've just, as of about an hour ago, loaned to Everton over Garnacho. Yeah, he
I
is.
think that's a bit harsh. That's a bit harsh.
I'd take Tyreek George. Tyreek George is a better player than Garnacho.
I said this in the stadium. I was having an argument, not like a nasty, like a funny argument. And I was like, I'd still play Garnacho over Sterling. I was like, I would. You'd rather have Sterling?
Yes, I'd rather have Sterling.
The thing with Sterling, to be fair, like I think he had that preseason in the US for Maresca. He wasn't even that bad. I remember him being like he scored against City in the US like preseason tour thing, and then first game against City of the Prem season, he just like got completely frozen out. I remember being a bit confused at that one. Obviously, he's washed. Like, we know that he's washed, but I was slightly confused by that. But yeah, like, back on Garnacho, we know that he's awful. Like, I think Scott, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's got the worst successful like take-ons in the league as a winger.
That was last season before we bought him.
Yeah, I mean, like him.
Look at the data.
Him and Neto just. They have a terrible success rate in terms of taking their men on, and for me, they just suit a team which is just like which will play out at you. So I don't think Garnacho will suit a team where they're sitting back like West Ham at the start. Wan-Bissaka was right next to it. Wan-Bissaka was all over Garnacho every time he got the ball, and even in low block games, I don't even want to see Garnacho near the pitch because I generally think I could do better at 1v1ing than against his fullback, because he doesn't even try a step over. He doesn't even try a feint. He doesn't even try to like skill. It's just like running, like moving your legs a bit and hoping that the defender's gonna like fall over or something, and then like putting in the ball like. Half the time it gets deflected, half the time it's just cut back and there's no one there. It's just like, yeah, it's just he for me is just a winger that you play when you're trying to score on transition. So let's say a Spurs away or a City away. That's where you should see him in these bigger matches, but not against these smaller sides. Like Gittins for me is much better than Garnacho in terms of playing against those lower block teams, just because he has that more flair and stuff. But yeah, I just think it's criminal having Garnacho and Neto as your two wing options. You've got to either have Esteval or you've got to either have Gittins. You can't have both Neto and Garnacho. And we saw, like, even yesterday, Neto off the bench was not even that bad. But these wingers are just so inconsistent. I just never know what I'm going to get with them. And then I bet, like, watch Garnacho score 2 goals against Arsenal away on Tuesday. Like it'll just be typical Garnacho. Like, and so I can never rely on these players. And yeah, it's just like Scott was saying, when you're trying to bring in wingers who Maresca at the start, they're so isolated that they have to be really, really good 1v1. So getting Garnacho just won't work unless you want to overlap the fullback, which is what we've been doing a bit more under Rosenior. But yeah, it's just it was a really tough watch in that first half, just because I just know that Garnacho is not going to produce anything and create any chances. So yeah, it was just super lackluster, and frankly, I'm very surprised that we scored 3 goals in the second half.
Also, on a side note, was responsible for both the goals we conceded. So that's just an extra cherry on top of the shit cake.
I remember the one where the second West Ham goal. That was Somerville, wasn't it? I mean, Garnacho, you got to track back. I'm with you on that. It was lackluster defending, but I was thinking, where the hell is Hato? Like, what was going on there? And now,
2v1.
Well, my conclusion at the end of it, correct me if I'm wrong, and this is what I was saying at the time in the stadium. I was like, where was he? And then I was thinking, where could he have? And I was thinking he was probably man marking someone, because we like to man mark at the moment. I don't know if you saw the Arsenal video with, I think it was Fofana who came into the Arsenal half and he was following Odegaard or something like that. I thought maybe he's man marking or something, but I was like, this is just basic stuff though. Like, you're getting dragged out of position and then you're leaving yourself isolated. That doesn't mean that Garnacho shouldn't defend, but ultimately it isn't Garnacho's job to occupy that space. But if we are going man for man, then Garnacho's got his man.
Which goal are we talking about?
Sorry? I'm talking about the second goal.
The second goal is entirely on Garnacho. He left his fullback 2v1 against 2 players.
Yeah, that's the one where Wan-Bissaka whipped it in, right?
Yes, because Hato's defending Bowen, as he should, Like, he's not as tight as he should be, but he's still defending him well. And Garnacho is jogging while Aaron Wan-Bissaka is doing an overlap down the right hand side, down the outside. He's
and there's
jogging.
also a chance 5 minutes before that where I think, what's their striker called? Tatty or Tato?
Tata, yeah.
Yeah, Tatty. He had a chance where, again, Garnacho just wasn't tracking back and Sanchez had to make a save on his near post. So from that moment, why is he not switching on and going, okay, I've left my man twice now. That can't happen again. And yeah, he was rightly taken off at half time. And it was good from Rosenior to make those proactive subs, because at times with Maresca, it's been not, I wouldn't say passive, but I just say not proactive early enough. And yeah, I just thought Rosenior did well to bring on what he could, basically. So yeah, we did well in the second half. But yeah, like I was saying, I didn't expect us to score 3 goals in the second half.
That was the worst Garnacho performance I've ever seen in a Chelsea shirt. I'd say the second worst was Nottingham Forest away, and I was like, this guy is just pathetic. But again, like me personally, I'd say I'm very, very patient with a number of players. I saw a tweet or a quote tweet from Charlie, who'd basically when we went to the training ground, he'd taken a selfie with Robert Sanchez, and the quote tweet from Charlie was, 12 months ago, if you'd have asked me if this man could do what he's doing now, I would have said no. It seems like he's turned it around. Fair play. And then people quoted that saying, you're a flip-flop. How can you take a picture of him? This and that. And it just got me thinking about, like, we do get set in our ways with certain players, but there also has to be an element of, he did some bad things and he did some good things as well. And I'm still very much of the opinion that Garnacho has his uses. I don't believe that he should be a starter regularly. But I'm still very much of the opinion that he can be a squad player. And I think Arsenal proved that, right? It just gives you something different at times. And sometimes it will be absolutely horrendous. And there's other times where he will produce moments of quality. But I just think the basics of football that we look for, especially now that we're finally letting a little bit of individuality come through in this team. Like, I've been praying for this. Thank you. Just allowing players to run with the ball in a way that doesn't necessarily suit a structure and doesn't go with your plan and how you painted it before the game or what you told the players to do. I like that. But if you've got players like Garnacho who one-on-one in Maresca's system, if you want to call it that, you're isolated, you can't dribble, and then you can't even link up when you have a little bit more freedom, then, you're not going to have any luck either. And I saw another tweet from Simon Johnson saying, halftime, we've given fringe players a chance and they haven't taken it, so they can't complain. That's not just directed at Garnacho either, because obviously Badia Shield came off and Gittins got injured, but he probably would have been hooked as well, potentially. So that was directed at a number of players.
Yeah, no, it was. And I think that I just wanted to touch on a point as well. You touch on the fact that we're seeing with Rosenior, like, players not always being in that structure. There is still a structure, and I'm actually slightly surprised.
That's very harsh, Jimmy. I don't think you can beat that game. Garnacho didn't get sent off, mate.
I saw a tweet, and I hard to argue. But even though he got sent off, he played 30 minutes in that game.
He only played 30.
Yes, Garnacho played 45 plus injury time and put up that level of performance. That was pathetic.
Is that the worst player we've seen from an individual all season?
Yes, he's the worst player. He's the worst player we have at the football club.
I'm trying to think about a worse one. What about was Sanchez against Brighton? That was last season potentially, wasn't it?
Yes.
When we conceded 2, that was last season. Okay.
Oh, there was one Jorgensen against someone. Who was it? Oh, that was shocking.
Jorgensen against Lincoln was pretty crap this season, I think. But yeah, that's the worst performance.
That's the standard. Oh my God!
This is the standard of what we have at this football club. Is guys like Garnacho and Jorgensen and Delap who will get on.
What about Buonanotte against Wolves?
But it was better than that.
Wolves away.
Wolves away.
No, he was decent in that. He wasn't even that bad. He wasn't that bad.
What about Delap? Wolves away. Didn't even last, to be fair. That's probably a bad. Yeah, all right, I'll give you that. Oh, actually, very good suggestion there. Tosin versus Leeds. That's a good debate. In fact, let's run a poll. Let's run a poll. And
Do you know what is jokes? We're debating all of this talk about, like, oh, he'd be a useful squad player. And look at the names we are merging him in. We're grouping him together with our backup keeper, who will be sold in the summer, our fifth choice centre back, who should be sold immediately, in fact, terminate his contract, a loan number 10 who was here for 6 months as a favour for Brighton, and a striker with one goal. Yep, and a striker with 1 goal all season. There's a common denominator here, and that's that none of these players should be anywhere near this football club going forward.
I mean,
you made mistakes in the summer, rectify them.
If we had like Osimhen and Jackson and Delap, I'm fine with Delap being in the squad. It's the fact that he's like the sole out and out number 9, but Pedro's not really a number 9 if you think about it. Yeah, no. Back on your point, Alex, I was saying, like, I'm slightly surprised because when I was looking at videos of how Strasbourg were playing and stuff, Rosenior did like wing backs. He did like his wing backs. He liked sort of a 3 up front, but not with like out and out wingers. And so I'm kind of liking the fact that he's kept what Maresca was kind of doing and made subtle tweaks, because it's very tough if you're midway through a season to just completely change style. And I think that's very smart from Rosenior to keep Maresca's sort of style, but then maybe add a bit more fluidity. Like Gusto was saying, that difference from Maresca and Rosenior is that he's allowed to invert, but he's also allowed to overlap. He's allowed to find those pockets, and then at times he's also allowed to roam free past the winger and make overlapping runs. So I think that's really good from Rosenior, sort of keeping the structure, not changing everything, because like we've seen the past 5 years in this club, we've had so much change and it never sort of works at the start. So yeah, it's really good from Rosenior to sort of keep that going. And yeah, like you were saying on that point, just I still see Palmer as well, which is good, like picking up spaces where he's on the right wing, or he's in the pocket, or he's sort of picking it up in the centre mid, a bit more like Poch, which is really good. But the only sort of qualm, only like thing that's less good with Rosenior's sort of tactics is just we concede bigger, higher quality chances. And for me, when you're building a house, let's say you want the base and the structure to be perfect. And for me, the defence has to be that. Obviously, we don't have the quality yet in defence. Maybe we need to buy another quality. Colwell is coming back as well. But I just don't think we're just conceding high quality chances, and better teams are putting us away yesterday, and we're having a completely different conversation. Yes, it's good to win against Napoli away 3-2, against West Ham 3-2, coming back from 2-1, 2-0. But it's not sustainable. Like, I think Charlie was saying it as well. Liverpool at the start of the season, when they were mounting these comebacks at the start, it's just not a sustainable way of playing football. And you look at the best teams like Arsenal, that's where their defense is so crucial for them, because it's what keeps, it's the spine basically of the team. And I just think that I do like what I'm seeing from Rosenior, like in terms of the fluidity of the players, individuality, like you were saying. But I just think we need to stop conceding these many chances, because we just look so vulnerable. That's all I want to say.
No, definitely. I mean, as much as I loved Pochball, I appreciated the vulnerabilities of it. And I was having chats with people outside the stadium. It was like, listen, I'm not saying you have to go one way or the other, but if we can find that middle ground between Maresca and Poch, that's an entertaining style with a bit of structure. I mean, I'm certainly still. I haven't made a decision on how I feel about Liam Rosenior, but I have to give him credit, and I think you'd be very silly not to give him credit, especially after what he's achieved. I think the way we managed the Palace game hasn't been talked about enough. I think that he managed that game very well. It was intelligent. It was just smart, but expected. So let's not dive too deep into that. But I think Napoli was a moment where I was sat sort of not quite in the corner with the away fans, but next to the away fans in like a mixed area, which is why, for those wondering, I didn't do the vlog. And we were never going to do fan cams in Italy, especially in Naples, if anyone was watching the news. And I was seeing everything with the view of, right, this is a real competition, and like we're making it competitive away from home against a team that haven't lost a home game in 2025. Like that is so amazing. However you
Yeah.
want to phrase it, it is amazing. It would have been amazing if Tuchel did it, and it's amazing that Rosenior did it. But again, let's not get carried away here. It's another game, and we don't want to get into this cycle of building up hope and it all comes crashing down. And that's how we felt at half time. You know, it was honestly the most pathetic first half. And I'm not a fan of booing players. I didn't boo any of the players, but I 100% I agree with everyone that booed them. And fair play, Rosenior said the same thing. Like that was just horrendous. But to bring it back with a triple substitution, the reaction, by the way, when we got that triple substitution was people were clapping already. They were like, fair play, you know, like we're 2-0 down. And, you know, we're thinking, you know what, this manager, he's going for it. And what else are you supposed to do? But the flip side on that is then we go against Arsenal, and there's a likelihood that we don't play a Palmer or we don't play a Fofana or whoever it is because they've already had more minutes than they should have had. And I hope that's not the case to a point, but we'll see how that goes. But ultimately,
I was just going to ask, what do you think, basically, because you were touching on that actually, what do you think of fans like sort of groaning and just like shouting at the players when we're not moving the ball quick enough, or when we're 1-0 down, let's say, and we're trying to play out from the back? What do you think of like the fans just getting on the back of the players like that? Because we know that the manager's not going to change the way that they want to build up. They're going to play out from the back. They're going to play short. What do you think? Because obviously the fans have a right to express how they're feeling, because they're, at the end of the day, those are the people who are spending their money to pay for the tickets to go and watch the team, to travel all around the country. But what do you think? Because me personally, it's the same with the booing. I've never been behind like the booing, all of that. Even last year, Fulham away.
Did you agree with it yesterday?
No, still no. I still wouldn't. That's not my sort of thing. That would never be the type of thing that I would do, just because I just never think it helps having that toxic environment. Obviously, it might wake up the players. It might wake up sort of their attitude, but it will never change in terms of how we're going to play, how we're just going to progress. So I've never been behind that, and like the booing, even like I was saying, Fulham away, like calling Maresca a wank, all of that. That's never been my thing.
I mean,
and I do.
There's moments for me. I'm probably like 90-10, you know, 90% of the time, 95-5, 95% of the time, I wouldn't dream of it. But I think that in life, there are situations where actually it's just so toxic, but that form of toxic behavior actually helps, because it's a wake-up call to the players, it's a wake-up call to the manager, and then they walk into the dressing room thinking, holy fuck, like we just got booed. And that's, by the way, I've been a Chelsea season ticket holder since Conte's second season. I've never heard them boo that loud. That's the loudest that I've ever seen, because it wasn't like a small section of fans, it was everyone. Or the majority of people. I don't have an issue with it, because I think that there was a lack of effort and intensity. I think that's actually disrespectful to everyone that's paid their money. Also, Rosenior admitted it. He said that, you know, you just need to raise the intensity. And it wasn't like a massive systematic change. It was just bringing on experience and taking off, you know, players that weren't performing. I mean, in Garnacho's case, he wasn't even there. He was playing against us. But Cucurella made a massive impact. I think João Pedro was fantastic. We're going to dive into more of the individual performances, but I think it's just good to like get a grasp of how we managed to turn things around. I mean, Scott, did you agree with the booing?
To a point, I think, like, because I think fans, if like, especially after that first half, right, like we were tragically bad, like that was not acceptable. I can understand the booing, because it's not. Like, fans pay their money to go and watch the team play football, like, and they're well within their right to boo the players and to say things if things aren't acceptable, obviously within reason. I've been there in stadiums. Obviously, I was there for what was the game under Maresca? I think it was the Wolves game, maybe, or there was another game where fans were getting on him after like 20 minutes. I think that's stupid, personally.
Was it Ipswich?
No, it was this season.
This season.
But yeah, I can't remember what game it was, but they were getting him after like 20 minutes, which I think is stupid. But yeah, I think the booing is fine in that sense.
Did we end up winning the game that you went to?
Yes, if it was Wolves, yes. Apart from that, I don't. I think it might have been Wolves. In which case we did. No, it was either Wolves or it was Brentford, but I don't think it was Brentford. I think it was before that. I haven't been to many games this season, but I think it might have been Wolves. But yeah, booing the whole team, I don't really mind at half time or at full time if we like lost or didn't win. Booing players, I've never been a massive fan of. Again, depending on the circumstances. Like, for example, I booed / got very angry at Marcus Alonso in the 6-0 against City when he was just like walking off when we're down. And it's like, no, you've been shit. Get off the pitch. Like, don't walk off the pitch. Run. Like, just get off the pitch. You've been subbed. We're down. I don't think we were coming back into it, but it's more of like just show a little bit of intent.
Yeah.
That I got annoyed with. So like that, if people booed him, I can understand. Never liked the Cucurella booing under Potter. Thought that was bollocks. I never liked the Jorginho booing under Sarri.
There was Sanchez booing at some stage last season as well.
I don't like that. But yeah, the booing the whole team, I don't really mind in this situation we were in yesterday. Like if it had been 0-0 and like we'd had chances but hadn't finished, and you just maybe weren't happy we were winning and you booed, I'd have had more of a pushback against it then. But yeah, being 2-0 down to that West Ham team, playing like we did, I completely understand it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll bring it back to real life in the sense that, when I used to train myself, my coaches, I always responded to a coach that would have a go at me. If a coach was too nice, I used to just get comfortable. And there are some players that just push themselves, but there are other players. And I think this is more for younger ones as well. You need a kick up the backside at times. And that's why I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. In the scenario that we were in yesterday, I'm absolutely okay with it. I mean, let us know what you think in the chat, guys. But if you are getting embarrassed at home against relegation, yeah, they're pretty much guaranteed to go down, West Ham. Although I'd say Nuno puts them in with a chance. I think he's the best manager to keep them up. But like, it was embarrassing. It was pathetic. You know, it's different when you're behind the goal because you don't look at the game the same way as when you're on the halfway line. You know, you're not trying to analyze tactics and all the rest of it. You're looking for two things. You're looking for a bit of intent from the players. And you're also, what are you smiling at, Scott?
I've just seen something on Twitter, bro. God is good. Life comes around, you know? It's one thing happens and then life comes around and just hands you something in the other hand. It's fantastic.
Is this Chelsea related?
Kind of. Very, 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 like,
loosely.
Sort of. Loosely, that's the word I was looking for.
Okay, fair enough. Oh, text me the link. I'm interested now. Or is this like got nothing to do with?
It's to do with Lampard.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I've lost my track of thought now. What was I saying?
About real life, I know you said about coaches booing.
Yeah, but players need to kick up the backside at times. They need it. So anyone who's going like, you can't boo players, it's not supporting. Like, where's the support for the fans that are going out there and spending all that money and putting in the hard yards? You know, like, there are times this season, for the first time, really in a long time, me following Chelsea, I'm like, why am I doing this? A couple of years ago, I would have happily missed the first half at Crystal Palace just to get there for the second half. This season, I was like, fuck that. I'm doing a watch along. Because it's difficult to get yourself up for those moments. I mean, I should be more organized anyway, but like, that's how a lot of Chelsea fans have felt. They're not enjoyed watching their team. So we just need to have a bit of life. And yesterday, I would like to think it's lift off. And if we beat Arsenal, then Rosenior is going to actually be taken seriously, in my opinion, at least in the short term. I still don't know what to think. I mean, my opinion is very much look at where we are in March and judge it from there. But before then, I can't really say too much because I still didn't agree with the appointment. And if we're being like sensible and logical, it made no sense to sack Maresca in terms of, you know, the footballing side of things, but the politics got on the way. So that's how it goes. But yeah, that's where I stand on everything at the moment. I don't have a problem with the booing. Because I think that also, like, the reaction from the fans in the second half, it showed that we're not just these negative pricks that are just basically abusing the players. All we're asking for is for you to put a shift in. So if you do that, we're going to match that intensity.
But then at the same time, it's seen as very much reactionary if the fans are up for it when we're winning, but then they're not. They boo when we're losing. Like, it's very reactionary. It's like very.
It's not just losing, though, is it? It's losing at home against West Ham, who are one of the worst sides in the league,
for me,
and losing in a way that you don't look like you're really giving 100%.
Yeah, go on, Scott.
I think it's the manner in which you're losing, right? Because I think, again, I'd like to think. Obviously, I don't go to games all the time, so I don't know whether this would be true. But I'd like to think if we had battered West Ham in the first half, like we had dominated them, we were shooting, and it was just Areola was saving them, or their defenders were saving them, and we were just dominating them. They'd scored one goal on the break, and we got in 1-0 down. I would like to think that the fans would be in a different mindset and would have been, you know, cheering or chanting and whatnot, and there would have been a different. Excuse me. I think there would have been a different vibe in the stadium, right? Whereas, like Alex said, if you're 2-0 down to a terrible West Ham team when you've played badly, like you've been the second best team and it's not close, and like you haven't got close to them really in terms of performance on the pitch or closing them down or anything, then I think that's where fans are well within their right to boo. I think the problem comes is when you have moments where, like the Wolves game, for example, I'm pretty sure it was the Wolves game, where we were in control of that game against Wolves. We weren't playing amazingly, but we were in control. We were, you know, pressing them high into their own pitch. We just weren't creating a lot of chances. And like I said, you had guys in the stand that were next to me complaining and shouting at Maresca after 20 minutes. Those are the people where, like, when we then score and we win in that game, they'll be the ones chanting. It's like, well, you didn't have patience. You didn't want to, like, chant when we were the better team and dominated and we just didn't score in the first half. But then when we start winning, you do. I think it's one of these things of it's a bit of a fine line. But at the same time, I'm always of the mindset of fans pay their money. They go out especially in England, in the cold, like it's freezing in stadiums at times, to sit and watch their team play football and to like escape sometimes. Some people use it as escape. Some people use it as like going out to see their mates as well as watch their team. Like, you want to be entertained to a level of like, to a certain extent, you know? You want to watch your team win. If your team is playing like shit, you're 2-0 down, what is there to cheer about? Why are you going to want to cheer your team?
I guess it's not about cheering, though, is it? It's just about being supportive. That's
I think encouraging. That's where I think the encouraging comes in. It is much stronger when you've put in a performance like that. And let's say, for example, we've all seen the Sanchez speaking to the fans at halftime. If instead of the fans like shouting him all of that, instead if they went like, "Come on, lads, like get in there, like second half, we've still got 45 minutes to go." If it was that instead of shouting at Sanchez, then I think he sees that and he sees that as motivation. It's the same as I was saying last time for the protests as well. The protest means more if we're doing it when we're winning than if we're doing it when we're losing. Because when we're losing and we protest, obviously, if you get a lot of numbers, then it's clearly going to be something significant. But if you're winning, like Strasbourg were doing it when they were first and second in the league, that's when they were protesting. For me, that's a stronger message to the board if you were to protest in that time. It's the same with the fans. I've never been behind when we're playing out from the back and it's like a 1-0 or it's a 0-0 and they just start shouting at the team the whole time. that's never going to help them. And I know that the players in that moment are giving their 100%. Obviously, there's a couple of anomalies where there's some players who just individually are just lazy, or they're just not giving their all. But I just really don't think that it helps the team booing or like groaning when we're trying to like play out from the back, or like for me, it just doesn't create a healthy atmosphere. And we see it with every club. As soon as clubs just start doing terribly, and the fans go and the players go clap the fans, it's just constant just booing the players, all of that. Like, obviously you can show your disgust and stuff, but then I think it's a stronger message if the fans start clapping, or if like what was the game, because I'm too young to remember this, but where Mourinho, was it when we lost or drew to Liverpool and he just went heads up to the
Arsenal
fans?
away.
Yeah, that one. For me, that's a stronger message to the fans. Or if you reverse the roles, if you do that, because it shows to the team that, okay, yeah, we've put in a terrible first half performance, we've still got 45 minutes to go, and encouraging.
I don't think the Mourinho one was at half time though. That was at full time.
It was at full time, yeah. But I
Right.
just think in general, if someone's doing something wrong, like let's say, I don't know, you can use it in any coaching example. If your student's doing something wrong, getting mad at them, I just don't think would help, or like getting upset. I think if you encourage, that's the best way you get the best out of someone, and that's where obviously football fans are quite reactionary, and obviously the older generation, they're used to us winning and stuff. But I don't think I've ever booed in a stadium or just shouted at players for not moving the ball quick enough, because that's never been the type of thing that I think will help the players. And we see, for example, was it last season, Ipswich at home? Sanchez is about to go short. Fans don't want him to. He goes long, and we concede from that. So for me, like, I see what you mean, Alex, in the fact that they'll be like, okay, the fans are really annoyed at us. We've gone back into the dressing room at half time. We need to bloody switch on it. But then at the same time, I think encouraging, like, in a more passionate way helps that as well. So you can see it from both sides, but yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, let us know what you think in the comments as well. The Mourinho one from Ride, thanks for this. For those of you who didn't know, that result meant that United won the league. So that's the significance of the chin up there. I guess we're going to do it again next season. Right, let's talk about individuals. Let's talk about some players. I think Rosenior, obviously, we know that he deserves credit for that performance. And also his interaction with the crowd as well. Can I just say, like, it was nice to see him come up to MHL and really give it a go. Because despite what people say about, fucking hell, I mean, Lampard, to be fair, was probably the last manager that I can remember that did it. Because Tuchel was not a clapper. Conte was not a clap, not like that. It was different. It was different with those guys. And I feel like, to be fair, a manager like Liam, like, honestly, you need to just do whatever you can, because you don't have a reputation for everyone to respect. So at least if they can like you, then that's some sort of rapport.
That's where winning the crowd over, I think, for him is super important, especially because he's the type of manager that if he starts to do less well, or because he's not got as much experience in the game as a manager, he was at Hull, Derby and Strasbourg. I just don't think that when results start to go pear-shaped, that's where it's very easy to use Rosenior as a scapegoat. Whereas if we had like a Mourinho, let's say, we're never going to get him, but let's say we had a Mourinho and we're not doing well, I don't think he gets scapegoated as much as Rosenior. So that's why I think it's really important that Rosenior gets the fans on side, and that's why I think for me, he's just trying to tick all the boxes and get on the fans' side. For me, that's what he's trying to do, because you saw Poch, he would never come and clap the fans. Maresca did. But yeah, I just really like the passion. Like Lampard, like you said, had it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're like the best manager. But I think it's always good to show that passion. And for me, it's just, he's young, inexperienced, and he's just trying to get the fans on side. That's all it is for me, just trying to tick all the boxes possible.
Yeah. Right. Let's talk about the triple subs then. Cucurella, Fofana, João Pedro came on. Obviously, Neto came on before that because Gittins got injured. Scott, out of the three I just mentioned, who was the best sub and why?
João Pedro. He was the one that changed the game for us. He's done that in back-to-back games now. I think that he, like, not. I think it was just individual brilliance from him. Like you saw in against Napoli, it was similar in terms of obviously there was the first goal where that's just all on him, and even the second goal that we score as well. Like he takes it really well, but it's just more individual brilliance. Same again in this game. You know, it was the first goal, fantastic cross from Fofana when he comes on, but you know, as good as the cross was, the run was perfect as well. We're crying out for anyone to make that type of run. We have a striker that doesn't want to make that type of run, would rather sit on the edge of the box. And yes, so that was really good, really well headed, like good header as well, heading it back across goal into the ground. What was it? Oh, so the second goal what we got was was the second goal a penalty?
It
was the second goal?
It was
Oh, it was Cucurella, yeah, the Cucurella one as well. But yeah, and then João Pedro obviously involved in the third goal as well, makes the run again off the back line. Really nice ball across for Enzo. Yeah, I think he has changed the game for us in 2 consecutive games when we've been really poor in both games, really. And yeah, I think he completely changed the game. I think second to him probably would be Cucurella, doing more of what we saw last season in terms of the box crashing, you know, really providing an outlet on that left-hand side and providing more of a threat than we were getting from Hato, and that's not entirely Hato's fault. I think the manager left him out to dry to an extent. Yeah, I thought those 2 players completely changed the game for us. And for me, they're the reason why we won. I think I touched on it, but like we kind of go back to the individual brilliant stuff. You need that sometimes to get through these games when you're not playing well, and you're like as a team performing badly. But yeah, I definitely think that João Pedro was kind of the catalyst to us winning, and he has been now for 2 games.
And that's really weird though, because like football's such a weird thing. Like 3 weeks ago, we were saying how João Pedro, like we don't really know what his role is in this team, and how we just don't really see him as a number 9. We don't really see him as a number 10. Alex called him Brazilian Kai Havertz.
Hey, Kai Havertz couldn't do that in Napoli. I'll say that.
Exactly. And then he does that against Napoli and that against West Ham. And it's just like, what are these players? I don't really know. What are they good? Are they bad? Like, you know what I mean?
I still don't understand João Pedro though. Like I said this yesterday, I still don't get what he is. I don't understand what he is. I really don't, honestly.
I think he's a second striker. He's similar to Nkunku in that sense. I just think he's got more. There's a little bit more to his game, whereas Nkunku is like very. I don't even know what the big difference is. With João Pedro, I think it's more of a case of he wants to take more time on the ball than Nkunku does. He wants more touches, whereas Nkunku didn't really care all that much about getting touches. He just wanted the ball in the box. Yeah, I think he's a 9.5, really. It's just unfortunate because of who else we've got. He needs to be the number 9 for us. But I think, Thomas, on your point, I think the biggest thing, especially with attackers and sometimes with midfielders as well, is goals and assists, and especially goals can just mask players, can kind of answer a lot of questions, because you look at the performances from João Pedro basically, you know, since the first 5-6 games of the season, outside of like the odd game here or there, it's been pretty poor. Like outside of the first 5 games of the season. But the difference in some games, like the Newcastle game, he wasn't playing very well, but he got that really nice goal, and that kind of masked everything. There's another player I think we'll end up talking about this stream who yesterday, terrible performance, but gets a goal, and so it kind of masks everything. And so as an attacker especially, you can kind of do that, and I think ultimately we've got to the stage, or at least I have, where as much as I want my striker doing more things, and he does, ultimately we just need goals out of our striker and assists as well. We just need end products. And so if he can carry on from now to the end of the season, he's going to have answered a lot of critics, including myself, like recently. 100%. And so that's all we can, all I want. Like, if he keeps carrying on, like if he's getting a goal every game or a goal every other game or an assist or whatnot, you know, he's going to finish the season with a lot of GNA. And I've already said there are 2 aims for him, in a sense. I need minimum, like, I don't think he's getting the 18 I wanted, but I'd like 18 goals. And I need you to get more than 23 GNA, because that's what, what's his face, Jackson got in his first season. And there needed to be an improvement. There needed to be a level up if you were getting rid of Jackson. I've said that about all players. So I think that can do a lot. I think we saw it with Neto at the start of the season. Crap performances, mostly. It was getting GNA. And so it was allowed, the crap performances. His GNA has died. He's still performing the same. His GNA has died and it's no longer acceptable. So I think that's goals and assists can mask a lot when it comes to certain players.
That's true. That is true. I do feel like João Pedro, I mean, I wanted him to start in the sense of form, but I understand why he was benched. So the argument about rotation, I think, is one of those things. It's like left and right in politics. You know, there's things that you like and there's things that you don't like. I kind of understand why we rotated, but at the same time, you could have limited that. You didn't have to make
the rotation
changes.
was from up above, as in like Rosenior doesn't have a say on the rotation.
That's the debate. I mean, the question is as well is you know, people, the back line we speak about, but you're in a situation where two of your available, fucking hell, three, they were all on the bench. Cucurella was on the bench, Fofana, and then you had the same with Reece James as well. But I took that as a way of saying, okay, cool. So we're not going to play these guys. Maybe we're just resting them for another game. Like we're taking it more seriously. I don't know if it's Arsenal, whatever it is. What's the next game we've got?
Wolves away.
Wolves away. Oh fuck! So it's not Arsenal.
After Arsenal, we obviously got Arsenal, then Wolves away, and then it's.
Is it okay? So it is Arsenal next, right? So it is Arsenal.
Yeah,
so
Arsenal,
we're
then Wolves, and then
taking the Arsenal game seriously, and that's why we're rotating. In which case, I would go, that's actually better than what we had under Maresca, because we would have just thrown that game away. Like we didn't really care about the domestic cup competitions. So that's one way of looking at it. But then you're sacrificing points against a side that everybody else has beaten, and you're telling me you can't get points against West Ham at home, and you're forced to make that triple change. But better early than never, right? And yeah, just on João Pedro as well, like he instantly came on and you could see a player in form. I don't know if you remember, it's such a random example that pops into my head. Do we remember when we played West Ham away years ago with Conte and there was fights in the stadium? And Andy Carroll played that game. And at the time, I think Carroll had scored like 4 or 5 games in a row. And he came on and everyone was like buzzing from the West Ham side. They were like, oh my God. And he had a couple of sort of chances or half chances. He just looked so confident. And it's not about tactics at that point. It's about just going on feeling. Like if a player's confident, when he gets half a chance, it's not half a chance because he knows he can bear it. That's a real chance for you. And João Pedro, for me, like he just brought so much. Not to mention the assist from Fofana at the beginning as well. I mean, as soon as we make those changes, an instant impact from both players. The same thing happened in Napoli when you brought, was it Palmer on? The same thing happened. Like he's getting involved and linking up. We're passing through the channels more. And then who was the other sub that we made? Cucurella was involved. Like fuck. And also, like, put some respect on Delap's name for the Cucurella goal. Delap was involved, hit the post. Cucurella wouldn't have had the rebound. So you got to put a little bit of respect on him. And he did improve when João Pedro came on. It's not like he was shit the whole second half.
No, he was still shit. He was still crap.
Harsh, very harsh. Very harsh.
He did nothing after João Pedro come on, and he tried to forearm smash a dude.
He was one of the players responsible for the Cucurella goal.
He tried to forearm smash a dude in the face. Tried to forearm smash a dude in the face. He was terrible. Delap is. I don't even know where to start with Delap. I think.
But if we're talking about João Pedro, we're relying on him constantly as a 9, and you want to get the best out of him. Play Delap as a 9. Play João Pedro.
Play a midfield 3
and then you might see, better from both players.
No, play a midfield 3.
Play Palmer on the right.
No, play a midfield 3
if we're open to it.
Play a midfield 3 because you saw yesterday we needed it. Play Palmer on the right and João Pedro up front. Delap does not need to touch the pitch apart from against Hull City. That's his level.
But then
he needs more time for me.
Against Fulham, to be fair, he showed that he has potential to be that different profile of striker, like that profile who will just bully the defenders, use his body well. Even we had 10 men, so he was very much like under the cosh. He was isolated. So I think that when Delap sort of fulfills his potential, I think the performance like we saw against Fulham away, that's his sort of that's where for me where he's best at. And yeah, I still think it's a good sort of profile to have. Like we haven't really had that profile of number 9 in a very long time.
Yes.
And that's what I think it's a really good profile to have in the squad. Even if, I don't know, even if he's not scoring goals, he will still drag defenders. He will still use his body well. He will still, maybe not the getting into the fights bit that he should try and eradicate from his game, but I still think having that sort of profile is what we've really lacked. And to be fair, I did think he would be better in the air, because I think we really needed someone who's just better in the air over the last couple of seasons, with Neto putting in so many balls into box and Jackson just, he's not, we know that that's not his strong point. So I just don't think that he fulfills yet that profile of being good enough in the air. Obviously he's physical and he uses his body well, but I just, the day that we have someone who's just really good in the air again, João Pedro is good in the air, but I'm talking like Osimhen or Haaland levels. Yeah, I don't think it'll be a long time until we get that.
No, Delap can definitely improve in that sense. I mean, Jackson was pretty weak in the air as well, if we're being honest.
I think
So,
two points quickly. One on Delap, first of all. I think I disagree slightly on the profile. I think we're similar to Arsenal in that sense of I don't think we need that profile, because it's similar to them and Gyökeres in a sense of you play a style of football that does not suit having a guy who just wants to be a poacher. And make no mistake, and I think this is a conversation that needs to be had around Delap, because people seem to have had this idea from Delap he was going to come in and be this like hold up play, link up with players, you know, could take one.
I've never seen him as a link up play. I've never seen him as a link up play.
Like I didn't really know what to expect, but like we're seeing now he's not. He is your like prototypical poacher number 9 if he just needs to get in the box and finish, get in behind. We don't play a system that caters for that kind of striker. It's similar to Arsenal. They don't play a system that caters to a Gyökeres type striker. So having a Gyökeres type striker is a bit redundant, almost, unless they're like Haaland level of they're just that good. It doesn't matter. I don't think we need Delap in this team. I don't think you see in like games like yesterday and other games where the game either completely passes him by because he can't get involved in build up, or he's used as a glorified backboard of just like it's quick 1-2 back to the number 10 or like to a winger. And that's basically all he's doing. He's not making runs in behind, or very rarely. When he is, he's not found, because again, we don't really have midfielders or have players that want to find over the top.
That's difficult against West Ham because they're so deep. I mean,
no, that's fair. But like again, Alex, then mostly what we're going to face is low block defenses because of the way we build up, the way we play football. Unless Delap is going to be a menace physically to both centre backs in the same way like a Haaland is, or you know, like Giroud at times, he's completely ineffective. We've already touched on aerially, he is pretty average, and I think I'm being kind with that. I think we've seen enough to say he's pretty average aerially, so he's not going to help you win headers if you're going to start just what we did against West Ham, just like hitting crosses into the box consistently. And he can't do the link-up play where he's not going to drop deep, or it doesn't look comfortable for him to drop deep like João Pedro or Jackson would and go a quick 1-2, get loads of touches. He doesn't want to do that. So I think, and regardless of my feelings on him as a player, whether he's good enough, I think profile-wise, he does not fit this team in any way, shape or form. And I think once Omega comes in, obviously I haven't watched much of Omega, but if he's anywhere similar to Jackson or to João Pedro in terms of touches on the ball, link-up, bro, Delap's gone. Delap's career, if that happens, is finito at Chelsea. It's finished. And we're going to
Well, I mean, 30 million. It's an easy flip.
100%. West Ham or Everton.
Or to be fair, I mean, quite easily you could loan him to Strasbourg and see what happens there. If they've
already got a striker that's killing it. Well, I say killing it. He went 10 games without a goal, but he's now scoring. The other point I wanted to make on the rotation, I disagree on the rotation. I was on the mindset of we do need to rotate more, or we need to rotate players, until I looked at Arsenal's stats. If you go and look at their top 10, I think, players in terms of minutes played, it's not too dissimilar to our top 10 in terms of minutes played, but they're playing every game. Their third minutes in terms of who's played the most minutes is Timber, who 2 years ago had an ACL injury. He is playing basically every game, whether that is centre-back, left-back or right-back. Zubimendi is second in that list, playing every single game, and they never say he needs to be dropped, he needs to be rotated, this, that and the other. Declan Rice, I think, is 5th. Saliba is 4th, I think, or it's Gabriel. One of the centre backs is 4th, one of them is 7th. This idea we need to rotate comes from 2 instances. Number one is because we have a bunch of injury-prone players that cannot stay fit. In Fofana, Reece James, Lavia, whoever else, you know. And the second thing is we are so worried about players getting injured and being run into the ground, it's a mixture of that, and I think we perceive some players to have been run into the ground when they're playing like shit, rather than just accepting of they're playing like shit. I think it's certain players you can see because of the way they play, and then certain players is no. But like, and I think this is part of the problem. We don't need to rotate everywhere. João Pedro should not have been dropped for this game. There is no reason to drop João Pedro in this game. He's come off 2 goals in the last performance. He's in good form. Makes no sense to drop him. He's not an injury-prone player. He's not been overutilized recently. Like, I don't know where he is in our top 10, but he's not overutilized like he was at the start of the season, you could argue. He didn't need to be dropped. Andre Santos had no reason to be dropped. He didn't need to play a midfield 2. It didn't work. You should have just played a midfield 3 because you wanted to try the Palmer in the 10 gimmick again, and it failed. He was a lot better when right wing. That's a different conversation. Cucurella is an example of what needed to be rotated. You could see, again, because of the way he plays, it's a lot more running intensity sort of thing. He needed to be rotated because he has been running to the ground. He is tired, and that's not on Rosenior. That's more on his predecessor. That is a criticism I'll give to Maresca. So Hato had to play. But then you have to then also rotate out a centre-back because Fofana can't play more than once a week or can't start more than once a week. And then obviously Gusto had to play. So you've got 3 out of your back 4 are backups. And then you look at what happens and we look terrible defensively. And this is why I've been on this mindset. It started last season, I think, but I'm more heavily on this in the last kind of few weeks to a month. We have to sell 4 centre-backs is the start point, but these injury-prone players they've got, outside of Reece James, they all need to leave, especially in defence, because you cannot build a team defensively when you are having to change one centre-back every game. Look at what Arsenal do. The reason that they can have Hincapié play left-back or centre-back, or Mosquera play centre-back, or Miles Lewis-Skelly come in and play left-back, or Ben White come in and play right-back is because one of Gabriel and Saliba is playing every game. Our constant is Chalobah, and I like Chalobah, but there's a level there. There's like the Gabriel Saliba here and Chalobah like here. But
then you talk about the rotation with João Pedro, but the issue is actually Fofana and Reece James, and we can't. We know what happens when you play them regularly. I mean, that's been proven.
But the problem with Fofana and Reece James is different, right? Reece James, we know why he's injury prone is because he got injured once, and then we had a slew of managers who went, we're bringing the moment that we need you, like Lampard against Arsenal. I'll never forget that game. Brought him back early. He played like crap in that game because he wasn't fit. He gave away a penalty against Tierney. I remember that specifically. He looked terrible, but we rushed him back because we needed him. Kante, he kept doing that with rushing back because he needed him and he the ground. We did that with Chilwell. That's why Reece James is injury prone. So I understand with him why you did the cautionary thing of you need to take your time. I completely understand. And also as well, we've now seen the fruits of our labour with that. He can play 2-3 games a week and it's fine. And then he gets a rest for like 1 or 2 games. I've got no issue with that. Fofana's different as well. He has had 8 different knee injuries in his career and he's 21 or 22.
8? Really?
He's had 8 different knee injuries. Well, I say different. He's had 8 knee injuries. I think they might all be similar things in terms of like whether it's ACL.
I mean, it doesn't matter. It's all
whatever. He's had 8 different knee injuries. That means he's had at least, he's had potentially 4 in each knee or more in one knee and less than another. So that's the difference with Fofana is like he has just had a slew of injuries in the same place, and it's similar with Badiashile. Badiashile just had so many hamstring injuries, and Silmina the same, so many hamstring injuries. Those guys are different from a guy like João Pedro, where he might look a little bit tired in games, but he's not injury prone. He's not picking up injuries. It was a similar thing with Lavia. Lavia wasn't a massively injury prone player, but he wasn't fit for a training session, and Poch ran him into the ground, and now he picks up one injury, and it's a constant cycle now.
But don't you think that we don't have that that constant in the defence just because we don't have someone who's good enough right now?
Yes.
Bar maybe a Fofana, but obviously with his injury problems.
I think 100% agree. I think it's it's a 1A and 1B situation of like, we have trouble defensively because we don't have a constant who's good enough, in the sense of like, even Fofana's not really that great. We don't have a constant in Colwell because he's injured because of the ACL, and then Fofana can't stay fit, so he can't be the constant. And our constant is Chalobah, who, like I said, I like, but he's not good enough to be the constant because he's very much a player of, he kind of mirrors the guy next to him. Yeah, but he mirrors the guy next to him, which you can't have. Your constant needs to be a, like, I'll call it an A centre back of like a Pepe, you know, a Gabriel, a Van Dijk, or a Saliba. Take your pick of the Arsenal.
In our case, it's probably Colwell.
Colwell is the A centre back of our team. He's the only A centre back of our team, because even Fofana, you see, he's a B centre back. He's not a leader. He's not an organizer. You need that kind of player. Unfortunately, we don't have that, and this is why I say you need to completely rethink the defense. Because if you're planning on bringing in Sarr, and I know this is tangenting away slightly, you're bringing in Sarr, you might bring in Xhaka. These guys will not succeed if you're constantly changing the dude they're next to, both from a fullback perspective, which we have to do at times, or a centre back perspective. Like, so, yeah, this thing needs to be sorted. We already touched on Thomas. You touched on earlier the defensive nature of how bad we are.
Yeah.
And I agree, because we're a little bit more open now under Rosenior, because we seem a bit more willing to take a few more risks. It's not full on, you know, potch ball, vertical, get the ball up the pitch, but it's a few more risks. And you see Caicedo a bit more isolated at times. But yeah, like, you need to fix that, because otherwise signing Xhaka's and bringing Sarr's back is a waste of time, because unless they're elite level talents, which we're yet to see, they're just going to fail because their environment is failing. Look at Hato yesterday. He fails, not because he's not good enough, because he's playing behind a guy who won't defend in the winger. He's playing next to a guy who's a bozo, and also he doesn't play with every single week. And the guy ahead of him in midfield doesn't defend either. So you've put him in a position he can't succeed in.
Yeah, I want to just say I watched it back as well. I don't know what I missed, but you were right, Scott. Hato was just doing his job. Garnacho wasn't tracking back. This is the problem with going to the games, where you miss so many things that you don't get when you watch it from home. So, I mean, actually, I would say that Hato is one of the players that has been, don't want to say reignited, because we never saw it under Maresca, but like, I have faith that Rosenior can get more out of a player like Hato than what we saw under Maresca. Same with Hato, same with Delap. I mean, João Pedro did reach a level in the Club World Cup, but that was instant, right? So, I mean, that's got nothing to do with the manager. You just know that he's capable regardless. It's just about finding the consistency, and then you can go, okay, right, this is what you do every week. Which is, by the way, the quality you want, right? Because even if you look at we're going back years, 2008 Champions League side, like, we've got a manager, Adram Grant. He was horrendous, but you've got a good team that can carry you and make it look as if you're doing a good job just because they're competent. And we need more of that. But yeah, I mean, in terms of what you were saying, Scott, I don't think you got much wrong, to be fair. I mean, do you have anything to add to that, Thomas?
No, like, I mean, I do agree. Like you were saying about that constant, we just don't have that quality yet. Like we were saying, we don't have it maybe in Fofana, maybe in Colwell, but yeah, it's just for me, it's a question of, can we please like have a bit more stability? And the stability point is like, you can talk about that with everything, like stability with the manager, stability with the sporting directors, all of this, stability in, I don't know, the team that you get picked. For me, it all trickles down at some stage. So for me, yeah, it's more of a, I don't really know whether the rotation comes from upstairs or whether it's Rosenior, whether it's a bit of both. It's very hard.
It's a bit of both. It's obvious. The manager's deciding what to do, but he's been given limitations. It's like, yeah, you can pick who you want, but you can't pick him and you can't pick him. That's what it is.
I also had a debate with someone on a stream the other night where I don't think you can fully say that the medical team have that clause and everything, because if they did, Palmer would not have played 90 yesterday. Like, he played 90, which is both ludicrous from a medical team standpoint. If this guy just came back from injury and we keep hearing about how he's not 100% and he has to have strapping and whatnot, And also just from a looking forward perspective, I want Palmer to play against Arsenal. Our chance against Arsenal, even though I think they're slim, and I don't think we win that game, they're better with him on the pitch, especially if Esteval is not there, and we haven't touched on it, but like hopefully everything's okay with him. And obviously he had to go back to Brazil, like just before the game or the day of the game. But if he's not there, we need Palmer in that team. And I doubt he starts unless he's somehow fit for 2 starts in the space of 4 days, which would be a bit weird considering how much we heard about Palmer and what we've seen prior to this game.
I mean, the one thing that we've got is hopefully Esteval. I mean, that's presuming that he comes back from Brazil. So I feel like at least we've got a bit of magic on there, right? But again, like the obvious thing is that you just want to have all of your best players. And then you saw at Napoli, like you've got great link up. I know Esteval wasn't anything special against Napoli, but he was involved in I think it was the second goal or the third goal. Like there was a little bit of link up. It's nothing crazy, but you can see the players understanding each other and just trusting in each other's quality. Let's talk about Enzo, guys. Let's talk about Enzo Fernandez because this guy, I mean, I actually still think there's a debate to be had about Enzo because I would argue that as much as he's being given credit, and he absolutely deserves that credit, I also think he's being overhyped at the moment. I am a fan of Enzo. I like him. I used to be a little bit more skeptical last season. I think he's one of the more improved players under Maresca. I believe he's a leader. I believe he cares. I believe that he's got a lot of great qualities in terms of GA, being able to get in the box. That's his most improved. That's the most improved aspect of his game is his ability to box crash and contribute in that sense. But one thing that I think Enzo's lost while he's gained the GA is his ability at times to dominate the midfield. And I don't just mean that in terms of dictating, but I mean that in terms of not really fully understanding like what I'm getting from him in the middle of the park. And I'm not saying he was bad, but even like Palace, for example, I went, yeah, he was fine. He was absolutely fine. And if you would have asked me about the performance from him without the goal, I would have said, you know, he was okay. But I still don't have that overriding feeling of, you know, world class. Father said to me yesterday, he said, Enzo's justified his price tag. I went, what?
Nope.
100 million? No chance. Caicedo justifies it every single week. And that is what you call elite and world class. And I'm sorry, but Enzo is not elite and he's not world class. He is a level below. And that's not even me criticizing him because he is worth 70, 80 million in today's market. That is that's a great price tag. You know, a lot of people would pay good money for a player like Enzo.
It depends.
But you are capped with what you have with this man. And the fact that we spent so much, it puts us in a position where we are kind of forced to play him from a political standpoint. I mean, that goes beyond football because you got your prize asset. You can't have him rotting on the bench. You can't resell him. And he's going to be very difficult to get off of your books. But just going away from that, he definitely deserves credit. And I will never, ever take anything away from the effort that he puts in. And I do think he's a key player in the squad, but he is being overhyped at the moment.
For me, it depends how you view it, though, because if you view a player like a bit like McTominay at United, where he might not have had very good performances, but he was still box crashing, still scoring goals. If you value a player, like we're saying,
McTominay's different though, Thomas, and you know it because McTominay could defend very well.
That is true, but here, like I think if you value goals and assists or arriving or crashing the box at the right time, which Fernandez, I give it to him, he's done that very well the last 2 seasons. Under Maresca last season, he improved that a lot, that box crashing ability, that ability to be in the right place at the right time, score really important goals. Same with this season. I think he's on course to have very similar GNA, maybe a bit better.
He's got more goals this season than he did last season already in the league.
Yeah, so that's exactly.
Not including cup competitions.
Not including. So he got 8. No, he got 6 last season. Yeah, 7, something like that. He's got 9 already this season. He got 8 this season in the league.
Exactly. So it shows that if you value that GNA bit, then you could see him as a very valuable player. But then in the whole game, a football game is not just about scoring; it's also what you do as a team. Yes. So if you're exposing your defense more than you are coming to score goals in the box or arriving in the box, then you're going to be more vulnerable for the team. You're going to make the team more of a you're just going to be less reliable for the team in that sense if you're not putting the defensive work rate in. And that's where, for me, I do understand his criticism at times, just because defensively he's not good enough for me.
Yeah, Enzo Fernandez at this point is one of the weirdest players to have a conversation about, because he can have games. In fact, most of the games he has for us at this point are like yesterday, where if I just focus for a sec, I take the game-winning goal out of it, I look at the performance. He was effectively a net negative to us as a team yesterday. Like, he is really doing nothing. Defensively awful. Like, the midfield in general was bad. Even Caicedo had a poor game yesterday. But defensively terrible. He takes too many touches on the ball. It's mostly sideways with him, like we used to complain about under Jorginho, but it's not in good areas to be sideways. Like, he's playing the ball sideways when we're in the attacking third, when we need a bit of creativity. So there's that. Like, he's doing nothing with the ball. Like, he's not really aiding the team in any sense that way. But he's getting goals. Like, he's getting like game winners. He's you know, he got the goal yesterday. He's getting, penalties against Napoli. He's getting other goals this season. I looked, he's 11 GNA in all comps off of matching last season's tally.
Do you not think he progresses the ball well, like, at all?
No, not in the way that we need, right? Because I think part of the issue of the way we play, and this is more of a team and a tactical perspective, is we have no one in our team, and this is not just an Enzo Fernandez thing, this is a whole team thing. Yeah. We basically have no one outside of Palmer when he's on form, player in this team, and outside of sometimes João Pedro, who wants to play the ball first time. It is all 3 touches or more. Like, it's 3 touches to then make the pass, or it's 1-2 touch to then take the pass on the 3rd touch. And that's okay at times, but when we play teams like and want to sit back, want to defend, you need to open up space by playing quickly, playing around the corner, first time passes into over the top or into space. And Enzo Fernandez doesn't do that. We've seen enough games from Enzo Fernandez to tell you that he doesn't do that on anywhere near enough regularity that he should, especially considering what at least I thought of him as a player before he joined. And so you look at players that can do that, like a Wharton, even though he wasn't great against us, he still had that aspect. I think Anderson can do that. There are other players as well out there. Bruno does it. And I think Bruno is an actual apt comparison to make with Enzo Fernandez. Of a guy who, although he can do a little bit more than Enzo can, because he can cover ground better and he has got not the ability, but he will just spam passes to no one on the off chance that one of them comes off. But he'll still get the GNA in games. And so he'll play terrible for 90 minutes and score or an assist. And so they'll win the game or they'll draw the game because he's got that goal. And so, like I said, I think Enzo Fernandez is such a weird player to have this debate about, especially after a game like yesterday, because, like I said, complete net negative on us as a team in the way he plays, but he got the goal that won us the game.
That's why, though. That's why.
Just quickly, Thomas, before you go.
Yeah, go.
I think for me, I've touched on this. If we're going to keep playing Enzo Fernandez, and I've got no issue with that to an extent, if he's going to score these goals, you have to play a midfield 3, bro. Like, watching the game yesterday, we needed Santos in there as well.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, that's why Maresca probably wanted to change him into that number 8 role, because he saw that in that pivot, he's just not good. Like, defensively, we can't have a pivot of Caicedo and Fernandez because we're just going to be so vulnerable. And that's why, for me, having either Santos or Lavia by the side of Caicedo, that allows Enzo to do what he does best for me. And that's what I think. But they try and replicate that with the inverted fullback. But for me, it just never works when you have the inverted fullback.
It works with some players, but you need to. It's a very specialized thing. Like Hato yesterday, it didn't work. He looked horrible. But yeah, like, I don't know what the answer is for Enzo Fernandez, because it seems weird to say drop him and don't play him because he is getting important goals for us. But he's so ineffectual to our team in terms of the whole general play. Like, watching him and Garnacho link up yesterday made me want to throw up. Like, it's horrible to watch.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
He's slow as well, which doesn't
Yeah.
doesn't add anything. As well.
Watching him try to defend Somerville when he gets megged in midfield at one point was funny as fuck. It's just comical.
I mean, yeah, I've not got anything against Fernandez. To be fair, I haven't got anything against him in terms of, you know, I'm content with him. If he was in our squad next season, I wouldn't have a problem. I actually think that the rumors with Madrid are real. I believe that he could play for a team like Real Madrid. I don't doubt that. By the way, if he did play for Madrid, it would be in a totally different capacity. It would be as a dictator as opposed to a goal scorer.
I do think. Sorry to interrupt. I do think, and this is where the comparison to like a McTominay is apt in a sense of like McTominay was used in the Premier League as a number 6 when he's not a number 6, even though he's a big dude. Like you see his size and think he's a number 6. He wasn't. He was kind of mere defensively. He didn't help him build up in any way, shape, or form. All he wants to do is like cover ground with the ball, which you can do further up the pitch when you're not quite as close to goal, and get in the box to score. And so him going to Napoli helped that sense. He got profiled differently with Conte, and it could be a similar thing with Enzo. Of like you said, he goes to Real Madrid. He plays in a midfield three, either on the left or the right, probably left, and it's like because he's got the guys because he's got Valverde next to him in midfield, and he's got like a Tchouaméni or something behind him. And because he's going to have a Vinny ahead of him or an Mbappe or Rodrigo or Bellingham or whoever, his role in that team, and he is so different. He's profiled in a different way and it just works better for him. So
yeah,
it's one of those.
No, I agree.
So with Enzo and Caicedo, then obviously just touching on the midfield as well. Like we want to have a midfield 3 then. That's what we're looking for in the future. You don't think that worked? The 2 in the middle.
I think we've seen with the number 10 thing. The number 10 thing just doesn't work for us unless it's like a João Pedro Delap thing. And I'm so tired of watching Delap play. I don't think it works for us. The number 10 thing. I think Palmer in the 10 is not working because he can't get on the ball enough. So then he wants to drop deep to pick the ball up, which doesn't help us. When he does get the ball, it's in tight spaces when he's surrounded by 4 players and he can't do anything because he's not God.
So where should he play? Right wing?
Right wing, 100%. I also think then on a side note, that helps us because we don't have to watch one of these terrible wingers we've got play football. Like we only have to watch one of. Yeah, we just have to watch one of Neto, Garnacho, or Gittins or Esteval play. Hopefully it's Esteval, but you just have one of them instead of watching 2 of them, which is a positive for the team. And then I think you just give more cover for Enzo so he can do more of the box crashing and more of the like stuff he's actually seemingly doing. And like I think Santos under Rosenior has actually played well. I think he's been our best midfielder since Rosenior's come in, so he can build off that. I also think then you give Caicedo more license to roam, and obviously gets the pre-assist for the Enzo goal yesterday.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And you just allow him in because the one thing Caicedo can't do is help in the first phase of build-up like Jorginho used to because he never demands the ball under pressure because it's not in his skill set. Whereas Santos doesn't necessarily always demand it, but he's always there available for the pass in that sense.
He's very comfortable.
Lavia's the
and so I think it just helps Caicedo. I think it just helps Caicedo a little bit more. He's more comfortable doing the stuff we want to do. So I just think it helps the whole team. The only slight con is how you're going to work the fullbacks into it in terms of it means you're going to have to push them up probably a little bit more. But I think you can still make it work. You just push the right back up more, I think. Whether that's James, whether that's Gusto. But yeah, I think it's something you should try. I think that's the system we should play going forward.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd like to see Santos continue to be an integral part of our team. I always say if it's not broken, don't fix it. That doesn't mean that Enzo can't fit in as well in some capacity. Although obviously there's a debate about him in the 10 or Palmer or whoever it is, even Esteval to be fair at times. Like I'm still very, very open to seeing Palmer playing on the right regularly. I don't see any reason why we can't do that, especially if we have a bit of defensive cover. We've got someone with legs on the right. I mean, James is perfectly capable of handling himself. Gusto's got the legs. If you've got someone there that's willing to sweep up, then it's not a bad option to have. Just to have that freedom. But again, this is just me spitballing. Like I don't really I want to try and refrain from having too much of an opinion on Rosenior without a real run of games, and also seeing us being really tested. And that might be in 10 games. We might have a really good streak like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We'll be seeing Rosenior's at the wheel. But you know, these things can change. The amount of people that have said to me they don't know what to think. Like, I'm in your camp. I'm on the fence. I don't know. I like what Rosenior's doing. I respect it. But I can't say that I think he's a great manager. I'd be stupid to say that.
I think, for me personally, I think the last 2 games, and actually most of the games we've had, we've played 7 games. We've looked crap in 5 of them for most of the game, I would say. I think the thing that he's got down, and I think this got talked about before he joined, is he's a really good man manager. So I think he can motivate players really well, and I do think he gives them a bit more freedom in terms of to pull out the individual brilliance. But yeah, I think the last 2 games especially, he has been saved by individual brilliance from 1 or 2 players. I think
he made great changes. That's the truth, Scott. He made some fantastic changes. Every change he made against Napoli, and obviously yesterday as well, they all work.
The Napoli ones I'll give you, because I think he also changed the way we set up in terms of certain things. The ones yesterday, I give you minimal credit for, because if you really think about it, he brought on João Pedro, who's our most informed player currently speaking, or most informed attacker, and should have started anyway. He brought on Cucurella, who is one of our most consistent players in the team. He brought on Neto, which was a horrible substitution he did.
Well, that was because of an injury. That wasn't tactical.
That's fine. You could have brought Palmer on, and you should have brought Santos on and put Palmer on the right, which you didn't want to do. Eventually, obviously, he did go on the right, but that was not a good substitution. And what else did we do? I think that was it.
There was on Fofana as well.
Fofana, which was an improvement on Badiashile, but again, I don't think
the assist, man. He got the assist.
He got the assist. I'm not saying he didn't, but I'm saying in terms of defensively as well, I don't think he was amazing. But
they're different profiles.
I also think again with Fofana, you've brought on the team's best current centre back. Like, yes, you made the subs, but my point, Alex, is more you could have been manager and made those subs, and they probably have a similar impact. Is my point? Is like, bringing on your team's best players in a situation where you're 2-0 down, to me, I give you a small amount of credit because you made the changes. You could have not made the changes. You made the changes. But
it's also
I'm not giving him the same credit.
After 45 minutes.
Yeah,
100%. I'm saying, I'd have done that. I'd have taken Garnacho off after 45 minutes after watching that performance.
You could have taken him off.
I'd have taken Hato off after 45 minutes, probably. Not because he was terrible, but because he was in a terrible situation.
Yeah, so would have taken Garnacho off after 55 minutes. I don't know actually.
He might have taken him off after 45 minutes as well. We saw him do that at times, with Neto and other players. He's taken guys off after 45 minutes. Whether he would have done or not, I don't know, but he could have done. But yeah, that's why I say I gave him minimal credit. I think again on a stream I was on yesterday, I think I gave it 80-20 to the players. He gets 20% of the praise.
So
for the changes, the setup was wrong. Like I said, the midfield didn't work. The defense didn't work. The lap didn't work. The winger pairing didn't work. The only praise I give you is the fact you brought João Pedro and then they did their thing. If it wasn't for João Pedro and Fofana and Cucurella, who you could argue all of whom should have started that game,
you never know what his team talk was at half time. You never know. That could have changed a lot of things if he was talking about, I don't know, aging men or Lego sets. You never know.
That thing is still nuts, that comment.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Hey, man, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know how many games it's going to take, but that PE teacher, that's going to stick around. It's not even in a disrespectful way, but you have to, you see it. I was with my dad, and he was my dad didn't know who Liam Rosenior was. He's my dad's he's in his almost 60, and he's not really keeping up to date with the politics of everything and Strasbourg. He's not interested. He just wants to watch the game. And he's like, Alex, that guy really looks like a PE teacher. I was like, fair enough. I didn't even say it to you. You said it yourself. I'm like that. You're not wrong, but he's making some great changes, and we got to give him credit for that. And even Jacob, who has been very anti-Rosenior. He's spoken about booing the team, get him out. Jacob said credit where credit's due. So if you can turn people like that around who were so extreme, once you're already in the door, they're already against you with an agenda.
How can you want to boo a manager before they've even stepped foot in?
It's about Bluco, not Rosenior. But the point being, you can still, bring those people on side. So they might still hate Bluco. I'm sure they do, but they respect you as a manager, right? Which in turn, to be fair, makes Bluco look good. Not that anyone's advocating for them, but I mean, I thought we would have been an absolute shit show by now, and I'm looking at us and I'm going, well, first of all, I always thought we were going to be more attractive to watch. That was never going to be difficult. Second of all, I'm seeing individuals that are being individuals, if that makes sense, like allowing individuals to do their thing.
Rome do, what they
want. Like I want to watch players that are good ball out. I'm seeing Palmer. Like, you say what you want about Palmer, the guy just looks free. He looks free. And he's carrying the ball. He's trying to dribble. He's being more direct. He's going from the wing and then he's going around the box trying to pick a pass or whatever it is. Like, I don't think he's got that magic touch at the moment. I'm certainly not saying that, but I'm just seeing something different. And now I know when we got the ball, we might pass backwards. There's a good chance we will, but also there's a good chance you'll have a player that will take him on or go long or dink a pass in. And I just find that fun to watch. And that's something maybe people can't relate to as much. If you're watching from home, it's different. But like, especially when we spoke about the groans in the stadium, like I didn't hear the groans in the second half. I'm seeing people that are getting off their seats. Like, that is what you pay for. That is why you go to the game.
Almost like that saying as well. It's almost like less is more at times. Like,
I mean, there's a comment here saying, "Are we more attractive to watch?"
I don't think we are more attractive.
The game yesterday. Like, this is my point. It's not about whether it was sexy. I'm not saying that. It's not about sexy controlling football. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about fun, energy, intensity, overlap. We did in the second half. We did in the second half. We 100%.
I don't think we had much of it.
You don't think we had intensity?
Like, intensity in terms of like, what's it called? I think we had intensity in terms of trying to like push up the fielding and obviously get the win because we were 2-0 down. But I'm saying
that's the point. Like, that's literally what.
That's not. But that's like, and I think this is subjective. That's not attractive to me. You pushing up the pitch in terms of like high press is not attractive to me. Like, attractive football.
A low block or what?
No. Attractive football to me is bopping players. No, is bopping a team off the pitch in terms of playing around them, playing through them, right? Which we didn't do to West Ham yesterday. But that's what attractive to me. I don't think we are more attractive.
Mate. You can't deny it's stressful, but it's fun, mate. It's fun.
I don't think it's fun. No, it's fun because we've won the games. It's fun because we've won the games. No, that's what's fun. We've won the games. The way we've played, we are not more attractive to watch. The way we played is not attractive, but we are winning more games.
Mate, we beat Southampton, what was it, 4-0 last season, and I left after 60 minutes. I've never left early in my life apart from that game. Like, that was not fun. We won the game 4-0. I was bored. We won this game 3-2, and it was like, this is what it's about. This is what it's about. So maybe I need to be more specific. I'm not talking about bopping teams off the pitch. It's a feeling. It's a feeling. You can feel something from the team that makes you. It makes you're not watching in a passive way. You don't want to look at your phone. You're stuck to the pitch. You're watching every movement, and I just feel like we lost that. We really did lose that. It's true, Scott. You can't deny that we were boring under Maresca. You cannot deny.
We've been boring under Rosenior as well.
Yeah, like
no, but yesterday, and Napoli, we weren't boring in the past two games.
Napoli we were
boring against. Crystal Palace, but we were a bit strange with the subs.
Are you talking the whole game against Napoli, or are you talking after we scored?
Well, if you're asking me about the game as a whole, I wouldn't have said we were boring. No.
Yeah, no, I agree.
There was parts where we struggled to create chances, but I don't think we were boring.
I agree. No. We're not. It's not boring because there's always something happening, but that is not always a good thing because against Napoli, for example, a lot of what was happening was towards us and in our box and in and around our box, and we were on the receiving end of it. It's similar in a sense to how it was under Poch, of like, it was never boring because it couldn't be boring. It was impossible to be boring under Pochettino because games were just end to end. It was like basketball. It was one attack, then another attack. Like, that's never boring because something's always happening. Your attention is always focused on what is going on, right? But I wouldn't call that attractive. Like you said, it's not even entertaining. Entertaining, it might be, actually, you could say. It's not attractive to me.
Entertaining is fun.
It's entertaining.
Is attractive.
Again, Alex, I think this is mad subjective because it's not fun to me watching my team get played through on a weekly, on a 10-minute by 10-minute basis.
Take the West Ham game, then look at it like that. Is that
West
not
Ham
fun?
was. West Ham was the first half.
We won. Like, did you not get a buzz in the second half when we get that goal straight away? When we win the corners and everyone's banging on the side of the stadium? How, Scott? Why are you watching the games on silent? Like, what's going on?
No, because
I
am.
I don't get it.
I am watching the games on silent. More often than not, I'm watching along, to be honest. But no, I didn't get a buzz. I didn't get a buzz because,
oh man,
again,
you have
like,
to be
obviously when we scored the goals 100%, because you always do. When you get goals 100%, it's more of a case of like the way we're playing before that. That's why I say, like, I wasn't entertained until we scored, you know. So like when we get the João Pedro goal, up until we get the goal that wasn't entertaining. And it was similar with the Cucurella goal. Up until we get the goal, it wasn't entertaining to watch, and or it wasn't attractive to watch. And it's similar with the goal at the end. We have entertaining moments or attractive moments in games, and it was a similar under Maresca. We'd have attractive moments, but it was never sustained because I think the style of play we play and just how we play in general isn't conducive to being attractive in general. And I think I don't think that's all on Rosenior. Like I said, it was at Maresca as well. I mean, it's just the way we set up as a team.
By the way, just before you go, Thomas, you go after this. Smash the like button, guys, if you haven't already. Smash the like button as well if you're enjoying it. Subscribe as well if you haven't, and if you've been paid, it's the end of January. Check out okjerseys.com to get some
dry January.
Look, you wanna boycott Blueco and all the rest of it. I just spent, what was it, 90 quid on 5 or 6 shirts. So it's pretty good, to be fair. Pretty good. They do Chelsea shirts. If you're not a Chelsea fan, you can still watch it. Although I'm not sure why you're watching this stream, unless you're a West Ham fan. But yeah, you can get anything on there. Scan the QR code or click the link down below and use this code CFTV for 8% off. And yeah, if you haven't smashed that like button, please do. Sorry, Thomas, I interrupted you.
Yeah, I was saying, like, for Poch, I think it would be entertaining for the neutral, but it wouldn't be entertaining for us. I think that's Scott's point. Like, if it was,
that I was gonna say the game yesterday was hella entertaining for the neutral.
That was entertaining for me. I was so entertained.
Ooh, I'm glad it was, bro. I'm glad it was.
Beauty. That's what you want. You want to be entertained. I don't want to sit. Scott, I've said this before. It might be controversial. I'd rather finish 6th and be entertained than finish 4th watching the most boring football of my life. Unless we're winning trophies, I don't care. I really don't care. Yeah, I don't want to be one of these teams that's just scraping by, appreciating the fact that we're winning games where we've got no trophies to show for. That's literally the only reason I started backing Maresca, was because he won trophies. If we're not winning trophies, it has to be attractive. And like, we can't judge Rosenior yet. He hasn't had the opportunity. We'll find out at the end of the season how that goes. And that's how I'm going to judge this. But to sit here and say that we haven't been entertaining, at least over the past 2 games, I think is just crazy. Like, even if we're talking about moments, is it not the same for like every team? Man City have moments. Liverpool have moments. Arsenal have moments. Like, every team has moments. So you can't sit here and say that you're entertaining for 9 minutes, because very rarely is any team like
I'm not asking to be entertained for 90 minutes, because I do agree. I think it's impossible to be entertaining for 90 minutes. But I'm asking for a more sustained thing. Like, we've seen teams be entertaining and for longer, you know, and like for whole matches. Like, for example, I'm pretty sure Manchester United fans were entertained for most of the game against Manchester City, outside of the fact they scored 2 goals, but they destroyed them. They bopped them off the pitch. Like, they didn't get close to them. Like, I'm pretty sure Napoli fans in the first half against us were hella entertained because they were dominating us. They were bopping us off the pitch. That was probably hella entertaining. But that's my point. It's like that's what's attractive and entertaining to me. Same way, I know Charlie's spoken about it. Like he doesn't really care about being entertained as long as we get the win. Like so, what he finds entertaining or attractive.
What is the win worth?
I think I don't know. You have to ask Charlie. I know he's made that point.
But do you agree with that point?
Depends on what sort of team you are, though.
Yeah, I think to an extent, right? Because, like, for example, I don't want to watch Conte ball for 90 minutes if all we get is fourth. I think you're right in that sense. I don't want to watch that for 90 minutes if all you get is fourth. If you win a title out of it, I can stomach it, it's fine. But at the same token, the playing like this entertaining football, this basketball, football, and finishing sixth to me also isn't acceptable. That also isn't entertaining to me, at least. So I think it's one of those of like, it's kind of in the middle sort of thing. And like I said, I just think this whole conversation is just subjective because what's attractive to me ain't going to be the same as what's attractive to Thomas. And what's attractive to Thomas and entertaining Thomas isn't going to be the same as what's attracting to you. And same way that's not going to be attracted to some guys in the comments. Like, it's just subjective.
Yeah.
I bet you.
To be fair.
Sorry, that's quite funny. I bet you find staring at the wall entertaining. Oh, that's funny. That's a good one, Ben. So yeah, what do you think about it, Thomas? And then we're probably going to wrap up, guys. To be fair, it's been a good chat, boys. It's been a good chat.
I think Maresca like kind of found the balance at times of that entertaining football, but then also boring football. Like in the bigger games against Barcelona, Arsenal, for me that was pretty entertaining football.
Yeah, that Barcelona game was hella entertaining. That was on the Maresca.
Yeah, exactly. But I think
that's true.
There were times where it was boring, but for me, you just have to find the balance, and that's a tactical thing. I think that's just having stability really helps. Finding that consistency and performance consistency in the way you play. Look at Arsenal now; they're able to bop teams off the park, but then they're also able to have an ugly win. I think for us, the most important is being able to have that variety of wins that you can have. If you can get that 1-0 like ground result once in a while, I won't mind that at all. As if the same thing as if we won a game like the Napoli one or the one yesterday, I don't mind that, just not if it's every single week. So I think the variety of performance is important, and I think in any like high level sport, at the end of the day, it's about winning. So however you win, then I'm just going to be happy. But it is very important at the same time to still find that balance for me.
I also think very quickly as well, a final point on this is I think so much of this also comes from players. Like, I don't know about you guys, I don't know in the comments, but like for me personally, part of what got me into football and kept me into like watching football is guys like Ronaldinho. You know, guys like Neymar, guys like Hazard, guys like Messi, and Ronaldo when he was in the Prem. Like part of this, I think, comes from the fact of like who is getting entertained watching Garnacho and Messi play football, or Delap play football, or like some of the dudes we have in this team play football. You know, like you get entertained by watching your Palmers, your Hazards, Cherkis, the guys like that who are gonna make a spectacle of it, who are gonna like Palmer when he was good, Palmer in 2 years ago.
Yeah, Palmer.
But yeah, like you're that's who's gonna like it's on the players as well to also make it entertaining. That's why, like for example, João Pedro, since the last 2 games, he's been hella entertaining to watch as a player. But it's because he's had the moments against Napoli, the moments yesterday that he's had the flair, the link up, the kind of like the whole shebang. Like it's also players that can make you entertain watching football matches. So there's only so much a manager can do in that sense.
Exactly. I agree.
So yeah, like I said, who on earth is getting entertained watching Garnacho play football?
And that's exactly your point. Like I was going to say as well. Like often we do praise the manager whenever a team's doing well, but then at the end of the day, it's up to the players to carry out the performances on the pitch. Yep. Obviously, manager's the easiest person to scapegoat. Obviously, the players at times when they're not doing well, like a Garnacho yesterday, we're obviously going to point that out. That's more individual. But like Napoli away, obviously we can credit Rosenior and stuff for his changes, but that was more down to the players and the quality they were able to show out on the pitch, because it was them at the end of the day who put the ball in the back of the net, same as yesterday. So yeah, I do think like you were saying, Scott, like it's down to the players as well.
Right. Well, listen, big up to everyone that's been watching. Really appreciate everyone, especially if you've been watching for the whole show. Otherwise, if you've just joined us, big up to all of you. Smash the like button, subscribe, check out okjersey.com as well. Use the code CFTV for 8% off everything. And big up to you, Scott, as well. Big up to Thomas. Thank you, boys, for joining me. Really appreciate it. I presume I'm probably going to see you at the Arsenal game, Thomas.
Yes, yeah, most likely, yeah.
When are you coming back, Scott? I saw you at the protest. Was that the last game you went to?
Yes, that was.
What's the next one?
No idea. Yeah, no idea.
No idea. Come on, mate.
Alex,
I'll sort you out, Scott. Which game do you want? Do you want Wolves? I'll get you Wolves.
No, I don't think I can do Wolves. I don't know. I've got so much to pay for at the moment, so it'll depend.
Get you Hull. There's a tempting one.
Alex,
I'll get you Hull away, Scott.
I've got Hull, a ticket for Hull for £12.50, I think. I don't know if I want to go. Yeah.
Oh, 50, that's nothing.
Yeah, £12.50 because it's 16 to 22 is
you get a discounted rate. That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Which I don't know if I want to go though.
That's fair. I got Leeds as well, Scott, if you want it. Leeds at home. Tuesday night, sorry. 10th of February.
It will depend on timings because I like work and everything.
Fair. All right, let me know. Boys, as always, a pleasure. Big up to everyone. Yep. We will be back very soon. In fact, I'll be on tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. if anyone wants to join me. So come and join me for that one. Apart from that, we'll catch up soon, guys. All the best and enjoy the rest of your